Welcome back. Here with Storyboard, and it's time for our special series that looks at how different industry sectors are leveraging digital marketing, social media, and of course data analytics for marketing. Today we're looking at the auto industry, and more specifically we're looking at Ford India. The iconic American car maker had till the month of October sold 99,681 cars. Of course, if you go by the positive experience that the auto industry has been reporting through the festive season, that number should be bigger by now. I'm joined by Anurag Mehrotra, the Vice President of Marketing of Ford India. Anurag, Diwali, let's start with that. How has festive season been? Because Siam is saying it's better than last year and yet not that big. I think they're saying 3% growth across passenger cars.
It's been a fantastic start to the festive season. It started with August with the Kerala Onam campaign. If you look at Figo alone, in the last 3 months, August to October, Figo's grown 12.5% in volumes, whereas the segment has actually come down by about 7%. Not just volumes have grown, but Figo has gained share as well. We were tracking at about 8% share. Today, Figo is running at about 10.5% share. So the festive season has been fantastic. And I think what's exciting us even more as we look at the year to come is the freshening of Figo that we've just done.
Yes.
So both from a product action standpoint that we've done on Figo and the Ford Classic. So there's a product play that is available in the market. Plus there is a strong consumer sentiment, like you rightfully said. There's a positive sentiment that is starting to emerge. And at the same time, I must tell you that the market is growing, still growing at about 8%. And compared to any other market in the world, including China, we are actually growing ahead of most of these markets.
But given that your industry has been used to blistering growth of 30%, even when it comes down, you're saying 8%, I'm guessing January onwards, right?
January
if you look
to
at the calendar year. And so when they look at the fiscal year, they were saying that this year growth would be pegged down to about 2 to 3%. So you're still growing, but really nowhere near what you all were growing at in the last few years. What is the special challenge or the pressure that comes onto you as the marketer?
I think as a marketer, it's a brilliant opportunity. I think more than as a challenge or getting daunted by it, I think we look at it as a brilliant opportunity because it allows us to sharpen our knives really. So for example, if you look at not just the data collection side of it or the data structuring, analytics comes into play in a big way for us. So for example, whether it is media mix modeling that we've started using in the last year or so, the way the Kerala market will respond to a media, the choice of media that you make is very different from the way a Bombay market would make. So for example, when we did the media mix model, we realized that a Kerala market responds better to television and internet, whereas a Bombay market is still heavily skewed or influenced by print. So for us as a marketer, it gives me a phenomenal opportunity to actually look at how can the same dollar be made to run faster.
So would you all have increased marketing spends or in a year that has seen slow growth?
Absolutely. We've not just increased our marketing spends, we've also got it to work harder for us. So that gives you the double advantage of being in the market. And that's reflective in the kind of volumes that we've seen in terms of growth as well as share.
But you know, Anurag, I'm playing devil's advocate, and all the time in the past year, and especially now in the festive season, what seems to be driving footfalls finally to that dealer store are those big, huge discounts that all of you all have been outbidding each other to offer consumers like me, isn't it?
Not really, Anuradha. Actually, if you structure or build your dealer body to sell a deal, trust me, there's never going to be instant where they'll be able to sell the car. So you got to build capabilities within the dealership so that they can sell the car and not the deal. At any given point of time, we've seen that when you do heavy promotions or heavy discounts, sure, you'll gain share. But very soon, as soon as you take those discounts away, the share plummets. And you will naturally end up at a share number which is going to be lower than what you started
out with.
So it's not always true that promotions will come into play and will help you. Sure, they'll help you in short term, but in the medium to long term, you are actually disrupting the dealer body mindset by actually getting them to sell a deal rather than sell a car. And that's what we've consciously focused on, making sure that we are selling both the product. Yes, there is a discount that is, or promotions that are available, but the calling card is the product, and therefore timing of refreshing of product, whether it's the Ford Classic or the Ford Figo, allows you to minimize your promotions and therefore run a more profitable setup than otherwise.
So tell me, how do you use data analytics to sort of, is it to acquire customers? Where is it being used in Ford India specifically? Also, we had a Shopper Stop on the show recently, and they were saying that, you know, this fiscal, 70 crore rupees of incremental revenues, they are willing to say openly, is coming on the back of data analytics based initiatives. Is there anything like that where you all are concerned?
Sure. If you look at marketing, we look at data collection at every stage of the consumer's life with us. So right from the point of a prospect comes in and we capture information which may be transactional at that stage. What's your name, what's your phone number and email ID and so on. But progressively through the journey of the consumer, we capture more and more data which is more behavioral. So what kind of family size do you have? Where do you go out for your weekends? So let's say once a consumer has come in and we've got that prospect data, once he's bought the car, we've captured some more information about him. How did he get the car financed? What's the tenure of the finance that he's done? What's the EMI he's paying, and so on and so forth. Within 30 days of him buying a car, so let's say Anuradha bought a car and within 30 days you'll get a call from us welcoming you to the Ford family. At that stage becomes another touch point for us to get information about you. And all this information then is used in the models that we create to help us drive business decisions. Let me give you an example. Should you come into our dealership to get a car serviced, we have launched a program called Card Everyone, which means once you come in, we've captured all the information about you and the health of your vehicle.
Right.
So let's say 6 months down the road, because of the information that we've captured, we know that your tire is coming up for change. So instead of you waiting to come into our dealership to get the car serviced, which is the time we will tell you about the tire change, we will proactively reach out to you and say, hey Anuradha, your car is coming up for, tire is coming up for change, would you like to look at it? So you become more predictive in your engagement with the consumer. So
it's customer relationship management where you're using data analytics primarily. What about acquisition? What about getting customers in on the back of this kind of information?
So what we do is at a prospecting stage, data is collected when you walk into a dealership, right? So when Anuradha walks into a dealership, we will have got information about you. And typically a consumer takes anywhere between a few weeks to 3 months to buy a car. So if you tell us, you're looking to buy a car in 3 months, we don't say, okay, leave it to the sales consultant at the dealership to reach out to you. What we would do is over the 3-month period, we will progressively, in a seamless two-way communication, build a relationship between you and us with the Ford by giving you information not just about your car, about the car that you're looking to buy, but also about some of the other vehicles that you're considering. What we've seen is there's been a lift of about 8% on the conversion ratios that we've seen from the time we started this communication with the prospects.
Given new launches and and the fact that digital is so top of mind, and the fact that there's data that suggests that almost half the people interested in buying cars start their inquiries online and on company or auto car websites. Digital marketing, would you say that that's become more important because we know budgets are going up? But when you compare it to those big brand campaigns that you'll run all the time, and then you look at the digital marketing efforts, how do you see their correlation?
I think it's really changing the landscape. Data clearly, at least in auto buying space, it is very clear that 75% of the people trust what they read online versus only 50% of what they watch on television. So it's clear that it's front and center of how consumers are consuming information. Typically, the automotive buyer tends to be in the 25-44 year age group. He's spending anywhere equal to what he spends on television the same time on internet, or 40% more. So internet is really front and center. 2 years back, we would typically have a digital campaign at the fag end of any campaign that we were constructing. So print and television would be front and center. If there is budgets left, the digital would be brought into the room for a discussion.
What is it now?
Now digital is front and center. I'll give you an example, or social media is front and center. When we launched the Fiesta, we did not launch it at a press conference in a hotel. We did it in a mall and we live streamed the press conference.
This is June.
This is July of last year. Right? We were the first company in the country today to do HTML5 ads on digital. We were the first company in the country today to do augmented reality ads on print alone. So digital is front and center. And then, for example, in the case of Fiesta, The entire campaign started on the social platform. With the drive, when we handed over the cars to 4 people, they drove the car.
It's something similar that you did to mark the 50,000 Figo a couple of years ago, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, okay, so what proportion of your marketing budgets would go to digital marketing, would you be able to say?
Yeah, about 2 years back, it used to be about 2 to 4%. Today, it ranges in the 15 to 20% range.
But this is given that it was really zero and then very tiny to begin with.
It's grown significantly. And I think what's fantastic is that we are placing our bets on mobile marketing. That's really where we believe most of our energies will be spent in the years to come.
So only opportunities on this front for you?
Completely. I think it's going to be a landscape which is yet to be explored by many. And Ford will take a pole position on this one.
Well, that's brave, confident words, Anurag. We wish you well. Have a great 2013 and lots of new launches I hope that we can report on. And with that, we're going to say goodbye on Storyboard, but you can stay in touch. We're on Facebook. That's our page. We are also on Twitter. You can follow @BrandStoryboard if you want news from the world of brands, marketing and media. See you same time, same place next week.